Good morning, 7th and 8th graders. Welcome to our end of year mini unit. Just a few lessons for you to take you through to the end of June and the end of school. We're done with Much Ado About Nothing. You were awesome. We'll revisit it just a little bit more in our Zoom so we can talk about some stuff together, but no more lessons on Much Ado. You read the play, you understood it. Your comments in lesson 9A are great and wise and interesting. You've learned so much about Shakespeare. Your minds have changed about Shakespeare in different ways. And you have some really well thought out reactions to what we did. So that's great. So, end of year mini unit. We want to wrap up the year, make it feel as good as possible, as complete as we can, even though it's a strange situation. Here's our calendar. So today's lesson, Tuesday, the 16th of June, will be on a 6-room protocol, and you'll learn all about that today. But I just wanted to show you what we have going on. So we'll meet on Wednesday like usual. We have a lesson about a letter to your future self on the 19th. We're celebrating the 8th graders' graduation on the 18th. Grade 8 Your Summer Reading Plan is due on the 20th. So you'll do this activity about writing to your future self for us. And then we have one more lesson after that on the 22nd. That's just going to be surveys, goodbyes. I have some messages to share with everyone since obviously I won't be back next year. So that's how we're going to close out the year. Okay, so year-end lesson 1. And it already has a mistake. It is Tuesday, the 16th of June. And you will watch this video, you will complete a writing protocol, you will do some writing and click turn in to us by Thursday the 18th at 7 a.m. Your aim for today is that you will be able to use the 6-room writing protocol in order to embed sensory language into your creative writing. So remember, sensory language is language that has to do with the 5 senses, and you'll hear more about that today. Okay, so what is the writing that you're going to submit? The final product for this lesson is one of several choices. You will choose either a 7th or 8th grade graduation speech, a thank you letter to someone who helped you this year, an advice letter to a younger student, a poem that captures this moment in your life. Whatever option you choose, you will incorporate an important memory using sensory detail. So all of us are focusing on this sensory detail, but you may incorporate it in different ways. Some expectations and requirements for the final product. For length, your poem must be at least 12 lines. Letters and speeches are at least 3 paragraphs. A minimum number of sentences is 12. So at least 12 lines, at least 12 sentences. But we're hoping for a lot more from folks who are going to explain a memory and write a letter. Don't know if you really can do it in just 12, so please think about that. For your tone, you should please be serious or positive, reflective, shares a meaningful message or moment, it's mature. Maybe you're telling a funny or sad memory, so there can be a big range of emotion that is in this piece of writing. But we want it to really sound reflective and like you're thinking hard about your year or your experiences. So it should not sound silly or flippant. You must include sensory details or descriptions. That's the heart of this lesson. You must include at least one specific memory. Your letters and speeches must keep your audience in mind. So if you are writing to your 3rd grade teacher or your sister or your aunt or whoever, really think of that person, really write to them. Dear Aunt Eileen, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe you're writing to a group of people, like you'd like to write advice. You are a 7th or 8th grader, and you'd like to write advice to future 7th or 8th graders, like, Dear 7th graders of 2021, here is what you need to know about succeeding in 7th grade. Or if you're writing the speech option, to the teachers, families, and students gathering to celebrate graduation. Like address them, think about who they are, what do they want to hear, how do you want to talk to that person or group of people. You will please complete all of your work in the Google Doc that we will share with you. It is called Number One Workbook. And for an extension, this is optional, but we love this idea, actually send your letter. If you're writing to 7th graders, maybe you know some future 7th graders that you can send this to. If you're writing to a family member, email them or put it in the mail, send it to them. Writing to a former teacher, they would love that. So here we have some examples of incorporating memory with sensory detail into your writing. If you're thinking like, wait, but like where would memories be if I'm writing a letter? Like why would it be about memory? So we wanted to show you what we had in mind for that. So for your 7th or 8th grade graduation speech, for example, like maybe you're describing in detail what it felt like to walk into Runkle the very first time, or like what does homeroom sound like every day that you go there, or what did you see or feel on your first day of 8th grade. Those are sensory memories. For your thank you letter, maybe you're describing a moment when they really helped you. The tears ran down my face as my wrecked bike lay in a heap, and you came and picked me up and hugged me, or who knows. Another idea, maybe think about writing to Mr. Ty, Miss Amy, and the PTO to thank them for our performance that we got to see. Just something Miss Daly and I thought of. If it's an advice letter to a younger student, for example, you might talk about the sight, sound, smell, feel of sitting in a quiz that you didn't know was happening, and then you realize, I need to always use my planner. If you're writing a poem that captures this moment in your life, maybe you want to talk about the sight, sound, smell, feel of the moment when you learned that school was canceled, or you learned what the pandemic really was, or you learned about George Floyd's death, and create that moment for us. Here's some pointers on the middle school speeches. 8th graders, this was targeted to you, but 7th graders, you can perfectly well use these pointers and tips if you feel like you want to write the speech option. So I had made you guys some videos and slides, and those are all linked here. If you feel like it would be fun to imagine yourself giving the graduation speech. For this round of speeches, like you won't, don't worry, no one will see it but me. But it's just like, what would you say to that group is a fun creative writing exercise and a good way to think about how you're feeling about the end of your year. Okay, so in your workbook, you will write to honor the end of the year. It's gonna look like this. This is what you're gonna see in your workbook. The general directions are to complete all the steps in the document, to draft and publish your piece of creative writing. You'll follow the requirements listed in the lesson. It's due by Thursday. You know the drill. So in your document, you will highlight which one of the choices you're going to do so that we know whether to expect a speech, a letter, a poem. You'll tell us who your audience is. I am writing to my Uncle Jim. I'm writing to all families at Runkle. Then you'll actually do the 6 rooms protocol. So this is the heart of the lesson, the creative writing exercise that we're doing. This exercise helps you focus on specific sensory details of your memory that you want to share. In the workbook, in the same doc, you will explore the different rooms of your memory house by recording your response into the tables. So the lesson slides will walk you through what each room is and provide a timer for you, although you can stay longer in the room if you want and go at your own pace. Try to find a quiet place to do this. Close your eyes before you begin and find the memory in your mind. Try to type the entire time and stay focused on that sentence. Don't delete, don't wordsmith, just keep typing. These are brainstorming ideas, so you want to get as much on the page as possible, and don't be caught up in judging it and thinking about how good it is. Just put it on the page. So here are the 6 rooms of your memory. We're going to walk you through each room. Room number 1, the event. So you'll write everything you can remember about the events or the experience of the memory itself. Don't focus on sensory information yet, just the plot, what happened. And so you can stop my video here and use our 5-minute timer or your own 5-minute timer. Room number 2, sight and light quality. Describe the quality of light and other things that you see in the memory. What is the light like? What is the sun like? What are the colors? What else do you see? What catches your eye? And you'll work on sight and light for 5 minutes. Room number 3, sounds. Do you hear any voices in your memory? What do they sound like? What background noises are there? The rustling of leaves, the scraping of chairs, the clicking of Chromebook keys. If it's silent, what kind of silence? Lonely? Content? Anxious? 5 minutes on sound. Room number 4, questions. What questions do you have about this memory? What do you want to know more about? Room number 5, feelings. What part of the memory evokes feelings or emotions? Describe the emotions. Try to write in phrases instead of one-word ideas. And room number 6, revisit each room and highlight the most important words and phrases in each room, maybe going back to add more details if when you look it over it doesn't say everything that you need to say. Okay, so having gone through the 6 rooms, having explored your memory fully as if it were a house that you're walking through, you're ready to write. You will embed sensory language generated from the 6-room protocol into the memory that you share when you write your graduation speech, thank you letter, advice letter, or poem. Don't forget, we'd love for you to actually send your letter to your person. And don't forget, these are what we expect and require. Finally, a community update, some announcements about what's going on outside of the 6-room protocol. You may want to check out Mr. Ty and Miss Amy's YouTube channel. We wanted to let you know that our next Zoom will be Wednesday, 6/17, 9:30 in the morning for grade 7, 1 in the afternoon for grade 8. Only one session, 8th graders. Please all try to come at 1. I'm not going to split you. This is our last Zoom. Is that possible? Is that crazy? Also, thanks for your great participation questions this past Wednesday. Bring your comments about the performance to our meeting of 6/17. We wished we could have heard right away what you thought, but if you have a comment, bring it. Also, you may sign up to perform for us at the Zoom, performing your final project. The monologues sound really good, the speeches sound good, the scenes sound good, you're doing awesome. Maybe you'd wish to perform live. That would be really cool. So you can click here on this link and just enter your name and what you would be performing. Also, I wanted to let you know that June 17th, Wednesday, is our virtual celebration of Brookline Pride. So what you need to do for that is you need to take a picture of yourself, if you wish to participate, showing some pride, wearing rainbow, holding up a sign, and share it. We created an Instagram account, Brookline_Pride, where you can share photos so that we can, although we can't have a parade, we can demonstrate our pride and support of Pride Month. So I hope to see everyone there. Okay, so you've watched the lesson. You chose what type of writing you're going to do, a speech, a letter, a poem. You're going to complete the 6-room writing protocol in your workbook. You're going to write the letter also in your workbook. And optionally, you're going to actually send the letter. You'll do this by Thursday, and we look forward to reading them. Thanks, and have a great day.